Hey you guys, this is Kay from Envigors, and I'm here to invigorate lives through wellness. And today we have another video talking about how to select your events for your business. So if you're interested in doing vendor events, this is basically what I did in order for me to create my vendor list, so that I can do events throughout the year. And yes, I do events throughout the whole year. I am in the DMV area, so I basically have to worry about winter, summer, spring, and fall, and making sure that my products can fit those specific weather patterns. If you know what I'm talking about, the heat and body butters don't necessarily work out too well. And so that is another thing that I took into consideration. But let's get into these talking points. Handy dandy phone once again. So for me, one of the things that I did was create a budget. I know that vending events could be very expensive. You can have an event that is $50, sometimes less, all the way up to thousands of dollars. And you also have to identify the type of clientele that you're trying to attract. So a lot of people say know your target audience, know your niche. In so many ways that is so true. But because your products might attract multiple people, you never know, especially when you're starting out. So one of the things I did was I tried to figure out whether or not a festival worked best for me, whether pop-up shops works best for me, or if craft shows works best for me. And for me, I do have a variety because I also know my target audience. You know, when I have a handmade body care and home fragrance company, and so with that, my products are catered towards people who are interested in clean ingredients. They're probably taking care of a home. You know, they're probably looking at making sure that their children have, or themselves, have proper body care products, that they can read the instructions and the ingredients and they're comfortable with it. So knowing that that is my target audience, I became very specific in terms of looking to see who attend those shows and then showed up there. That was super important. So I created a list of events within my niche of target audience. And also too, they call out directly like we need handmade body care products. So I'm like, that's my people. So I show up there. One of the things I will also say is pay attention to your competition. What I did was I would go on the website and look at who's actually selling at those events the previous years, and see if it was a consistency with having the same type of companies. Also looking at my competition. Am I competing against someone who's selling the same products as me? Now that might not always be a bad thing, you know, because I have had events where the whole row of us, they're selling the same types of products, but people were intrigued by my products more due to the way either the presentation, you know, my friendliness, or even the sense that I carried and understanding the knowledge of my products. So it attracted a lot of people to come to my products and my tent. Certain price lines. So some organizations will have it where you're paying more to be in prime spaces. And so being in prime spaces do cost more, but identify how many people actually show up at this event. So for instance, there is a vending show that I typically do. It's on a high-paced main street. In doing that event, I can almost guarantee that I'm going to always have the opportunity to sell my product even if I have a prime spot or I don't have a prime spot. So at first I would pay the expensive cost for being upfront, and yes, it paid off. But at the same time, when I didn't pay it, I also got really good return. So for me, I took into consideration the types of products that I had, what was really important for me to sell at that time, if I'm launching a new product, then I'll probably pay for prime spots so that way I could try to push and market a little bit more. It's also a game of understanding climate as well. During the pandemic, a lot of people were more interested in outdoor events, but they weren't outside as much because it was a pandemic. Now everyone's outside, but are they willing to shop? Look at whether or not they're bringing in people who, if they're marketing to people who are looking to shop, or they're just bringing it for awareness. And you could kind of tell. It's like, hey, we have all these great vendors, but they don't spotlight vendors. They don't identify whether or not the types of products that they're going to have there. They don't identify, the resources that they could provide to people. That was super important for me. And once I realized that they were saying, come, it's this type of day, you'll find vendors that sell this, that, and the other, that gave the anticipation that I will be there. I can serve you. And so that's super important when it comes to selling your business products to other people and selecting an event. And then finally, making sure that you also place yourself into some sponsorships. So sponsorship is super important to me because it allows you to be in the face of other people who didn't know your brand, didn't know your business. Yes, it costs, but sponsorships are also a really good way for you to say, hey, this is the type of product that I have, and here's a sample of it. Come to my store. So I make sure that my top sellers are always readily available for those events. And you never know the connections that you will get from sponsorships. They are a wealth of it's a great marketing tool. Like, it just is. And it also helps with events. So like, I would make sure that my products were available. I remember my first event was a wine festival, and it was about 100 degrees, and I had my body butters there. Bad idea. But then I remember I had samples of one of my other products. I think it was the car diffusers. Yeah. And I had my friends literally walk around with a tester of that scent, and people were coming and they were saying, I love that scent. How do I get it? They went to my website, and that was because I was able to sponsor. I was able to ask the organization, like, hey, can I put this out to the people? And they said, absolutely. And they did that. I also had my friends give my body butters through events as well. And I had a card in there like, do you like the texture of this butter? And then if you do, visit my website. And then that brought people in. So there are ways that you can go about it. I hope that this was helpful. If you have any questions about how you select your events, or if you have additional topics, please put it in the comments. I will also say, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. One of the things that's really important to me is that we create a community to share like-minded ideas and thoughts to people, not just in the hand making business, but in business in general. It might spark somebody else being encouraged. So I hope you have a good day.